All right, greetings, everybody. I am joined today by two executives that are in Chicago at the IX event by LNS Research. Alec Glenn, the Vice President of Reliability and JSW Steel, and Karthik Natarajan, co-CEO of Infinite Uptime. Now, you folks are at the COO event, and I've heard the phrase leveraged, which is user validated. I'm curious from the end user perspective at JSW's APM journey, what was the most surprising aha moment from the frontline teams when they started trusting AI-driven decision over traditional methods?
I think, number one is, we're still in that journey. With that being said, it's the aha moment. It's really getting out to the frontline workforce. It's still being developed, but for me, it really starts with our whole leadership team. Obviously, Jindal family, Sajin, Park Jindal. Those gentlemen set the vision, they set the commitment. And then if Mr. Acharya, the CEO, and then the CEO of North America, which is Robert Simone, and then on down through the chain. So I think in the frontline workforce, I think sometimes people get a little bit too ambitious and say, really our goal needs to be as good leaders. How do we make it better for them? So if a leadership team truly wants their workforce to be better and more empowered, you need to focus on those tools to make them better. And that to me is the key.
Thank you, Alec. So I heard executive buy-in decision, and then I heard investment in the downstream line to every worker in that. So Karthik, you're day in and day out talking to a lot of people from the implementation perspective. Give us some example of the aha moments you see in whether steel type of companies or others.
Thanks, Lucia. I'm really impressed with how our customers adopted technology like prescriptive maintenance AI. And to share some examples, one of the large tire manufacturers has improved 15% output in the last 12 months with the same capacity of the plants. Another customer who benefited with 200% capacity improvement compared to what they've done the previous 12 months. And another customer has said they improved their MPBF by 70%. I think these are terrific examples of how we are generating value by working with their operating teams.
Thank you, Karthik. Those are great numbers to reflect on and certainly to look forward from the journey that Alec described that just started. So Alec, back to you. Operators and maintenance teams had to trust this AI-assisted decision. How did you get the buy-in from the people you've been doing this job for 20 years? What convinces them, which is just another tool that would slow them down?
So to that point, obviously success, right? So what builds success and trust, it needs to be built over time. That has to be the key tool, right? So a good vendor relationship, good partnership is key. Obviously, when it sees an issue, it needs to transmit that. And people have the courage to actually adopt that into their systems.
Got it. Now, Karthik, anything you want to add to that?
No, I think it's about building the buy-in across the stack from top floor to shop floor and senior management to plant operations, including maintenance, quality, productivity. How do you think you're able to holistically integrate along with safety and sustainability? I think these are the critical pillars that is critical for creating a success with partnering with customers, the manufacturing domain.
I have no idea what it is and I don't care.
Thank you. Now, Alec, you're at the beginning of the journey. Anything that you can share in terms of how the technician accept or reject the prescriptive recommendation and what feedback loop tunes these models? Have there been cases where human intuition overruled the AI, or was it the right call?
So to your point there, obviously, you're going to have your successes. You're going to have your times where you want to be more successful. You have to have the agility to go ahead and respond. So that is definitely key to getting their involvement, engagement, collaborate with your operators, collaborate with the frontline workforce, make sure it's prescribing the right things. But also too, we have different levels of development in parts of our company. At our Vijayanagar plant, Dolvi, we're much further. Here in the US, we're still developing that to be more critical, more in demand. So we have a very good operation in the US and we're going to continue to grow that.
And I want to double click on that. Now, Infinite's Uptime's partnership spans from predictive to prescriptive AI, which failure modes, whether it's bearing gearboxes, have delivered the biggest wins in lead time and maybe cost savings or cost avoidance.
So for us here in the US, obviously we're still growing that, but where we do have some sensors are on like, pumps and things of that nature, hydraulic units, some fans. So obviously you'll focus on that. So you always should start small is always my advice, especially when you're launching new plants. Build that success there, build faith, build trust. That's huge, right? You have to have compassion of the workforce and make sure they understand the direction you're going.
Got it. You hit on a good transition point, which is the scaling aspect. JSW operates multiple facilities. How did you scale, or how do you plan to scale the APM across sites without losing the user validations that made it work in the first place?
Well, to that point, I can never take credit for all the good work that's been done in India, right? Those guys have done an amazing job. Very well structured, very well driven, excellent workforce. Here in the US, we have the opportunity to learn from them. So like you said, scale, build pockets of excellence, and then launch it in other facilities. So that's what we're really looking at.
Thank you, Alec. I want to close with one question for both of you. If you had to pick one piece of advice for manufacturing, they are starting their AI APM journey, and one pitfall to avoid, what would it be? Maybe we'll start with you, Alec, or Karthik. Go ahead, since we haven't been.
I think don't just stop with the pilot and have an end in mind and ensure that you follow through what you want to achieve through the pilot, but don't lose sight of your end outcome that you want to achieve over a period of 1 to 3 years.
Alec?
I'm gonna further go with his, stay small, you build from there, and that's how you scale, that's how you grow. I'm very much aligned with that.
Thank you both for sharing the time. I know it's very valuable being in Chicago, and I hope that you can spend a little more time with us in December during IoT World's Manufacturing and Supply Chain in December. Hopefully, Karthik will fill you in on that, and hope to have you join soon.
Thank you, Lucian. Really appreciate your time.
Cheers.